Stedman, the book has been out for just over a month now, Identity Leadership. Tell me about the book. What is the motivation behind the message?
Well, Identity Leadership is self-leadership. It's based on the philosophy that you can't lead anybody else until you first lead yourself. So I love the topic of this. It's kind of a culmination of all of my work into this book. And self-mastery, self-empowerment, self-efficacy, self-discipline, all the self stuff. And so I teach a 9-step success process, which teaches you how to self-actualize who you are. Mm-hmm. If you don't have who you are as the foundation for your development, it's hard to take information and education and make it relevant to growing and achieving success based on having a vision and having a plan and being able to set goals. So I'm so excited about the book, and I'm excited about being here. Yeah. So
it's
thank you so much.
That you're doing this tour, getting the message out. I really like how I've heard you've started the book with writing your own obituary. What does that do? What kind of mind frame does that put people in?
You know, the second step in the 9-step success process is vision. The good book says where you have no vision, the people perish. So it's not where you are, you know, it's where you're going to be. It's not how you start, it's how you're going to finish. And so being able to predict your future and control what your life is going to look like 50 years from now, and break that down and segment that into different, you know, weeks, months, years, and organize your life around what's possible for you as a human being. Mm-hmm. and who you can be in the greatest country in the world, which is America. So that's a big question, because otherwise you're doing the same thing over and over every day. You wake up in the morning, you wash your face, you brush your teeth, you get something to eat, you get the kids off school, work all day, come home in the afternoon, spend time with the family, watch TV, go to bed, maybe a dream, that's Monday. And you repeat that same cycle over and over. And Einstein said you cannot solve a problem with the same mindset that caused it. So if you're not a learner, if you just go to school, you memorize and take tests, repeat the information back, you label with a grade, 2 weeks later you forget the information, you're not thinking. So if you're doing the same thing over and over, which is nothing, mm-hmm. everything you learn you forget, which is nothing. Nothing from nothing is nothing. So the most important thing that you have going for you is the ability to build a foundation, focus on your passion, your skills, your talents, and your abilities, and then self-actualize that. Mm-hmm. And that's what I teach people mm-hmm. how to do.
Has there been a moment in your life where you have come to a major decision, or you feel like you have been stuck in that rut and you've had to look at your identity closer?
Yeah, I mean, it's about identity as the foundation for development. And so I kind of lost mine because of my relationship with Oprah and having to be defined by my relationship and defined by race. I had a race-based consciousness growing up. I thought it was about, you know, white America and giving my power over to that label. Mm-hmm. Family with 2 disabled brothers in my family, had to deal with that. So I had a lot of things to overcome, and it's an internal issue for me to be able to overcome that. I had to focus on the inside of who I was as a person. It forced me to go within myself to figure out who are you, what's your talents, what's your skills, what do you do well, what's your passion, and the most important thing, what do you love, and then what makes you happy. And when you find that, then when you're happy, everybody else is happy. Mm-hmm. And so it's a beautiful thing to be able to understand the process for that.
And the process is not an hour sitting at a coffee shop writing down notes, right?
It's a lifelong journey of working on yourself all of the time. That's why self-empowerment and self-efficacy and self-leadership, mm-hmm. you can't lead anybody else until you first lead yourself. So if you can work on yourself mm-hmm. and learn how to take knowledge and information and make it relevant to every part of your life every day, all of us are equal because everybody has 24 hours. The mm-hmm. question is, what do you do with your time?
Yeah, I appreciate you opening up and saying that you feel like you lost your identity, because I have a lot of friends in a phase of life where they were one person in their 20s, and now here they are with families and a job they may have been in for a while, and they don't know who they are anymore. Finding what you love, what do you mean by that? Can we find what we love in our situation that we have now?
It really is simplifying love. Mm-hmm. And simplifying passion. So I tell people to write down everything you love and then begin to organize information around things that make you happy. And there's only 2 choices in life. There's negative and positive. And so negative means that's a negative mindset. I feel negative. My energy is negative. So guess what's going to happen? Whatever you put out, you get back. Mm-hmm. So the transformation is always love, and everybody understands love. And so the transformation is having a positive attitude, looking at the glass half full as opposed to half empty. It's being able to focus on what you can do as opposed to what you can't do. So changing that mindset. If you're hardwired to be negative, guess what's going to happen? You may not even be aware of it. So you have to interrupt the whole your whole system of negativity, if that's how you live, and you got to figure out how to disrupt that, right? So you can change your energy, change your thinking, change your results, change your habits based on what you can do as opposed to what you can't do.
Mm-hmm. And this is not the first book that you've written about
my 12th
process.
book.
Yeah.
My 12th
right.
book, my most important book, and I've done a lot of work in Cleveland. I've trained refugees and immigrants, in Amsterdam. I love the work I do in the schools. I've worked in colleges. I speak around the country. I have a number of clients that I work for. Key Bank here, Dave Reynolds, so in Cleveland. So I just, I'm very blessed to have found out who I am and what I want to do and what I want to dedicate my life to the rest of my living, and it's a beautiful thing. It makes me happy every day.
Yeah. Now, you and Oprah are both seen as leaders. People turn to you for leadership.
Okay.
And seeing what kind of traits and qualities. What qualities do you think? Because Oprah is somebody that a lot of women turn to as a leader. What qualities do you think that the two of you have together that really complements each other, and what can people learn from both of you?
What makes our relationship really wonderful is the fact that she is doing this in the air, and she's on, she's in television, and she had the show for 25 years and all of that, and she loves what she does and she empowers people. I do it on the ground. And so we get a chance to talk a lot about, do a comparable analysis between the two of us. And the commonality is that we know that everybody has the potential. And we first have to know it for ourselves to be able to teach other people that. And so it's great watching her evolve throughout the years, based on her mission and based on her purpose and based on where she came from. Because she wasn't supposed to make it based on the way it was set up. And so it's just wonderful to be able to understand that the process of success is the same for everybody. So Oprah's process is the same for me. My process is the same for somebody else. Our process is the same for millions of people around the world. And so what we try to do is teach people the process, the success process, and how it works and how you can apply it to your life. Because she's a human being, I'm a human being, just like anybody else. And so it doesn't make a difference who you are. If you understand the process of success and you start with a purpose in life, and you start with an identity in life, and you go to a vision and you develop a plan, and then you have a master the rules of the road, your guiding principles, and then you're able to build relationships, and you're able to build a dream team, and you understand how to take information and education, make it relevant to your heart and soul, transfer it to your mind so you become a thinking human being, and then transfer it to the world that you live in so you can create and shape your own future. You have the opportunity to be able to create whatever you want in your life based on your potential as a human being.
Now, I know you get a lot of questions about her running for president. You guys have both said no, she's not running for president. But since both of you understand leadership in such an in-depth way, have you looked at are you any step closer to looking at who you might endorse in the next presidential election?
I'm endorsing every human being in the world who has the ability to be able to impact their own environment based on where they live, to impact their own family, to impact their own community, and to impact their own state and city and country based on what you bring to the table. And to me, that's who I'm running for.
That's great. So if somebody wants to get the book, where can they go? What's the best place to go?
Amazon, of course, Barnes & Noble, and local bookstores, of course. So, but it's a pleasure to be in Cleveland. I love it here, and I spend as much time as I can here. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
We love having you here. It was great to talk to you again. You're so insightful.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
So
I'm looking forward to reading the entire book.